Quick Test enables you to add checks to your test. A checkpoint is a verification point that compares the current value for specified properties with the expected value for those properties. This enables you to identify whether your application is functioning correctly. When you add a checkpoint, Quick Test inserts a checkpoint step to the current row in the keyword view and adds a checkpoint statement in the expert view. By default, Quick Test names the checkpoint using the name of the test object on which the checkpoint was created. You can choose to specify a different name for the checkpoint or accept the default name. When you run the test, Quick Test compares the expected results of the checkpoint to the current results. If the results do not match, the checkpoint fails. You can view the results of the checkpoint in the test results window. You can add checkpoints while creating or editing your test. It is generally more convenient to define checkpoints after creating the initial test. To add new checkpoints while editing or recording your test, use the commands in the Insert Checkpoint menu, or click the Insert Checkpoint button in the toolbar. This displays a menu of checkpoint options that are relevant to the selected step. To add new checkpoints while editing only, right-click the step where you want to add the checkpoint and select the relevant checkpoint option. Select the step where you want to add the checkpoint, select Insert Checkpoint, and then select the relevant checkpoint option. Right-click any object in the active screen and select the relevant checkpoint option. These options can be used to create checkpoints for any object in the active screen, even if the object is not part of any step in the keyword view. Quick Test enables you to reuse the existing checkpoints in your test. When you insert checkpoints into your test, consider which checkpoints can be reused in multiple locations in your test. For example, checkpoints that check generic content or the state of your application may be useful in multiple locations. Checkpoints that check the content of a specific area of your application are generally useful in only one particular place in your test. The following examples illustrate situations in which inserting an existing checkpoint may be useful. If each page of your application contains your organization's logo, you can reuse a bitmap checkpoint to verify each occurrence in the application. If your application contains multiple edit boxes, you can reuse a checkpoint to confirm the enabled status of these edit boxes throughout your test. You open the Add Existing Checkpoint dialog box by selecting Insert greater than checkpoint greater than existing checkpoint. This option is available only if at least one of the object repositories associated with the current action, including the local object repository, contains at least one checkpoint. If a test object step is highlighted in the keyword view, or the cursor is located in a step in the expert view, the Add Existing Checkpoint dialog box opens with the test object's tree hidden. The test object displayed in the test object box is the object from the highlighted step in the keyword view, or the specific object where the cursor is located in the expert view. You can display or hide the test object's tree by clicking the Show/Hide Test Objects button. The Add Existing Checkpoint dialog box contains the following. Test object specifies the test object for which you are adding a checkpoint. Test objects tree displays every object in the current test. Show/Hide Test Objects shows or hides the test objects tree. Display only checkpoints relevant to the selected test object. When selected, Quick Test determines which checkpoints from the current actions object repositories are relevant for the selected object based on the checkpoint type and the properties selected in the checkpoint, and displays only those checkpoints in the checkpoints list. When using this option, it is recommended to open your application and display the selected object so that Quick Test can accurately determine all of the checkpoints that can apply to that object. Checkpoints lists the checkpoints available for insertion. If the display only checkpoints relevant to the selected test object option are cleared, this list includes all checkpoints from all object repositories associated with the current action. If the display only checkpoints relevant to the selected test object option is selected, this list displays only the relevant checkpoints, as described above. Properties area displays the checkpoint properties for the selected checkpoint in read-only format. 1. Display the action in which you want to insert the checkpoint and select the step after which you want to insert the checkpoint. 2. Select Insert Checkpoint, Existing Checkpoint. The Add Existing Checkpoint dialog box opens. 3. If the test object's tree is displayed, select the object for which you want to insert a checkpoint. Otherwise, proceed to step 4. 4. From the checkpoints list, select the checkpoint that you want to insert for the object displayed in the test object box. 5. Click OK. The checkpoint is inserted after the current step. Standard checkpoint checks the property value of an object in your application. The standard checkpoint checks a variety of objects such as buttons, radio buttons, combo boxes, lists, and so forth. For example, you can check that a radio button is activated after it is selected, or you can check the value of an edit box. Standard checkpoints are supported for all add-in environments. Image checkpoint checks the value of an image in your application. For example, you can check that a selected image's source file is correct. Note, you create an image checkpoint by inserting a standard checkpoint on an image object. Image checkpoints are supported for the web add-in environment. Bitmap checkpoint checks an area of your application as a bitmap. For example, suppose you have a website that can display a map of a city the user specifies. The map has control keys for zooming. You can record the new map that is displayed after one click on the control key that zooms in the map. Using the bitmap checkpoint, you can check that the map zooms in correctly. You can create a bitmap checkpoint for any area in your application, including buttons, text boxes, and tables. Bitmap checkpoints are supported for all add-in environments. Table checkpoint checks information within a table. For example, suppose your application contains a table listing all available flights from New York to San Francisco. You can add a table checkpoint to check that the time of the first flight in the table is correct. Text checkpoint checks that a text string is displayed in the appropriate place on a web page or application. For example, suppose a web page displays the sentence "flight departing from New York to San Francisco." You can create a text checkpoint that checks that the words New York are displayed between flight departing from and to San Francisco. Text checkpoints are supported for most add-in environments. Text area checkpoint checks that a text string is displayed within a defined area in a Windows-based application, according to specified criteria. For example, suppose your Visual Basic application has a button that says View Doc less than num greater than, where less than num greater than is replaced by the 4-digit code entered in a form elsewhere in the application. You can create a text area checkpoint to confirm that the number displayed on the button is the same as the number entered in the form. Text area checkpoints are supported for all Windows-based environments, such as standard Windows, Visual Basic, and ActiveX add-in environments. Text area checkpoints are also supported for some other add-in environments, such as Java. Accessibility checkpoint identifies areas of your website that may not conform to the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. For example, Guideline 1.1 of the W3C Web Content Accessibility Guidelines requires you to provide a text equivalent for every non-text element. You can add an all property check to check whether objects that require the all property under this guideline do in fact have this tag. Accessibility checkpoints are supported for the web add-in environment. Page checkpoint checks the characteristics of a web page. For example, you can check how long a web page takes to load, or whether a web page contains broken links. Note, you create a page checkpoint by inserting a standard checkpoint on a page object. Page checkpoints are supported for the web add-in environment. Database checkpoint checks the contents of a database accessed by your application. For example, you can use a database checkpoint to check the contents of a database containing flight information for your website. Database checkpoints are supported for all add-in environments. XML checkpoint checks the data content of XML documents and XML files or XML documents and web pages and frames. The XML checkpoint web page/frame option is supported for the web add-in environment. The XML checkpoint option is supported for all add-in environments. In this section, you will add a standard checkpoint in the Book a Flight page. This checkpoint verifies the value in the box containing the first name of the passenger. To insert the checkpoint, the Mercury Tours application needs to be open to the page on which you are inserting the checkpoint. 1. Start Quick Test and open the Mercury Tours test. If Quick Test is not currently open, open it, making sure that only the web add-in is loaded. Browse to and open the Mercury Tours test. 2. Save the test as checkpoint. Choose File, Save As. Save the test as checkpoint. 3. Display the action step on which you want to add a standard checkpoint. You want to add a checkpoint that checks the property values of the first name edit box after the passenger's name has been entered in the box. Click the Test Flow tab to display the test flow pane. If you do not see the Test Flow tab, choose View, Test Flow, or click the Test Flow pane button to display it. In the Test Flow pane, double-click the Book Flight action. 4. Open the Mercury Tours application to the Book a Flight page. Log into the Mercury Tours website, http://tours.demoit.com. In the username and password boxes, type Tutorial. Click Sign in. The Flight Finder page opens. Enter flight details. Change the following selections by choosing from the drop-down list. Do not use the calendar option. Departing from New York on December 29th, arriving in San Francisco or returning December 31st. Clicks Continue to accept the other default selections. The Select Flight page opens. In the Select Flight page, click Continue to accept the default flight selections. The Book a Flight page opens. 5. Create a standard checkpoint. In the item column of the keyword view, highlight the pass first 0 row. Choose Insert, Checkpoint, Standard Checkpoint. The Checkpoint Properties dialog box opens. The dialog box displays the object's properties. The name is the name of the object, as defined in the HTML code of the web page. The class is the type of object. Web Edit indicates that the object is an edit box. The ABC icon in the type column indicates that the value of the property is a constant. For each object class, Quick Test recommends default property checks. The table below describes the default checks for the Web Edit class. In the name box, enter check name as the new checkpoint name. Scroll down in the Object Properties area and select the row containing the property named value. You need to enter the value that matches the value you entered in the actual step. To do this, click in the Constant box and enter the first name value. In the Insert Statement area of the Checkpoint Properties dialog box, select After Current Step. This inserts the checkpoint after the Pass First 0 set step. This is the step in which the passenger's first name is entered in the first name box. Accept the rest of the settings as default and click OK. Quick Test adds a standard checkpoint step to your test, below the selected step. 6. Save the test. Choose File greater than Save or click the Save button. In this section, you will add a page checkpoint to your test. The page checkpoint checks that the number of links and images in the page when you run your test is the same as when Quick Test learned the objects on which you inserted steps in your test. 1. Locate the page where you want to add a page checkpoint. In the Test Flow pane, double-click the Book Flight action if the action is not already open. In the item column of the keyword view, highlight the Book a Flight Mercury row. This is the row directly above the row displaying Pass First 0. 2. Create a page checkpoint. Choose Insert, Checkpoint, Standard Checkpoint. The Page Checkpoint Properties dialog box opens. When you run the test, Quick Test checks the number of links and images in the page and the load time, as described in the pane at the top of the dialog box. The load time of the page may vary from computer to computer, and your results may not match the above image. Quick Test also checks the actual target URL of each link and the actual source of each image. In the name box, enter checklinks as the new checkpoint name. If all three checkboxes are not selected in the type column, select them. Accept the rest of the settings as default and click OK. Quick Test adds the page checkpoint to your test. Because this is the first operation on the Book a Flight Mercury page, the operation is added directly to the existing Book a Flight Mercury page node. It is displayed in the keyword view as a checkpoint operation on the Book a Flight Mercury page. 3. Save the test. Choose File, Save or click the Save button. In this section, you will add a table checkpoint to check the cost of the outbound flight, as displayed in the Book a Flight Mercury page. 1. Locate the page where you want to add a table checkpoint. A. In the test flow pane, double-click the Book a Flight action if the action is not already open. The action is displayed in the keyword view. B. Highlight the Pass First Zero step, the step that enters the passenger's first name into the first name edit box. 2. Open the Mercury Tours website to the Book a Flight page. A. In the username and password boxes of the Mercury Tours website, http://newtours.demoit.com, type tutorial. Click Sign in. The Flight Finder page opens. B. Enter flight details. Change the following selections by choosing from the drop-down list. Do not use the calendar option. Departing from New York on December 29th, arriving in San Francisco, returning December 31st. Click Continue to accept the other default selections. The Select Flight page opens. C. In the Select Flight page, click Continue to accept the default flight selections. The Book a Flight page opens. 3. Configure Quick Test to record on the Open Browser page. A. In Quick Test, choose Automation, Record, and Run Settings. The Record and Run Settings dialog box opens. B. Select the Record and Run Test on any Open Browser radio button and click OK to close the dialog box. 4. Create a table checkpoint. A. In the Book Flight page of the Mercury Tours website, under the flight departure date and price, highlight 270, the price of the fare of the first leg between New York and San Francisco. B. In Quick Test, click the Record button, or choose Automation, Record. Quick Test begins a recording session. C. Choose Insert, Checkpoint, Standard Checkpoint. The Quick Test window is hidden, and the pointer changes into a pointing hand. D. Click the highlighted string, 270. The Object Selection Checkpoint Properties dialog box opens. Select Web Table, New York to San Francisco and click OK. The Table Checkpoint Properties dialog box opens, showing the rows and columns of the table. E. Enter check cost as the new checkpoint name in the name box of the Table Checkpoint Properties dialog box. Note that by default, check marks appear in all cells. You can double-click a cell to toggle the cell selection, or double-click a row or column header to toggle the selection for all the cells in the selected row or column. F. Double-click each column header to clear the check marks. Double-click column 3, row 3 to check the value of the cell. Quick Test checks only cells containing check marks. Scroll through the rows and columns to make sure that only the cell in column 3, row 3 is checked. If any other cells are checked, select each checked cell and click the Remove from Check button. Tip: you can change the column widths and row heights by dragging the boundaries of the column and row headers. G. Accept the rest of the settings as default and click OK. Quick Test adds the table checkpoint to your test. It is displayed in the keyword view as a new step under the Book a Flight Mercury page. 5. Stop the recording session. Click the Stop button to stop recording. 6. Save the test. Choose File, Save, or click the Save button. In this section, you will add a text checkpoint to your test to check whether New York is displayed in the flight confirmation page. 1. Locate the page where you want to add a text checkpoint. A. In the test flow pane, double-click the flight confirmation action. The action is displayed in the keyword view. B. In the keyword view, highlight the first row displaying flight confirmation, Mercury. 2. Open the Mercury Tours website to the flight confirmation page. A. Log into the Mercury Tours website, http://newtours.demoit.com. In the username and password boxes, type tutorial. Click Sign in. The Flight Finder page opens. B. Enter flight details. Change the following selections by choosing from the drop-down list. Do not use the calendar option. O. Departing from New York on December 29th. O. Arriving in San Francisco. O. Returning December 31st. Clicks Continue to accept the other default selections. The Select Flight page opens. C. In the Select Flight page, click Continue to accept the default flight selections. D. In the Book a Flight page, click Secure Purchase. The flight confirmation page opens. 3. Configure Quick Test to record on the open browser page. A. In Quick Test, choose Automation, Record, and Run Settings. The Record and Run Settings dialog box opens. B. Confirm that the Record and Run Test on any open browser radio button is selected and click OK to close the dialog box. 4. Create a text checkpoint. A. In the flight confirmation page, under Departing, highlight the text New York, include the space after it. B. Click the Record button or choose Automation, Record. Quick Test begins a recording session. C. Choose Insert, Checkpoint, Text Checkpoint. The Quick Test window is hidden, and the pointer changes into a pointing hand. D. Click the highlighted text string, New York. The Text Checkpoint Properties dialog box opens. When check text appears in the list box, the constant field displays the text string you highlighted. This is the text Quick Test looks for when running the test. In the name box, enter check departing text as the new checkpoint name. Remove San Francisco from the checkpoint summary pane as follows. Click the Configure button to open the Configure Text Selection dialog box. Highlight the to-text string. Do not highlight San Francisco. Click the Text After button. San Francisco changes from black to gray. Click OK to close the dialog box. San Francisco is removed from the Text After part of the checkpoint summary pane. Accept the rest of the settings as default and click OK. Quick Test adds the text checkpoint to your test. It is displayed in the keyword view as a checkpoint operation on the flight confirmation Mercury page. 5. Stop the recording session. Click the Stop button to stop recording. 6. Make sure that the checkpoint is above the home step. Drag the step up a row if needed. Otherwise, during the test run, Quick Test will click the Back to Home button before performing the checkpoint. 7. Save the test. Choose File, Save or click the Save button. In this section, you will review your test with checkpoints, run the test, and analyze the checkpoint results. 1. Configure Quick Test to record on the open browser page. A. In Quick Test, choose Automation greater than Record and Run Settings. The Record and Run Settings dialog box opens. B. Select the Open the following address when a record or run session begins radio button and click OK to close the dialog box. 2. Start running your test. A. Click Run or choose Automation, Run. The Run dialog box opens. B. Ensure that New Run Results folder is selected. Accept the default results folder name. C. Click OK when the test run is completed. The test results window opens. 3. View the test results. When Quick Test finishes running the test results window opens. The test results should be passed, indicating that all checkpoints passed. If one or more checkpoints had failed, the test result would be failed. 4. View the results of the page checkpoint. In the results tree, expand Book a Flight, Summary, and highlight checkpoint checklinks. In the Details pane, you can review the details of the page checkpoint, which lists the items checked. The load time of the page may vary from computer to computer, and your results may not match the below image. The checkpoint passed because the actual values of the checked properties match the expected values. 5. View the results of the table checkpoint. In the results tree, Book a Flight, Mercury page, expand card type. Highlight checkpoint check cost. In the Details pane, you can review the details of the table checkpoint. You can also review the values of the table cells. Cell values that were checked are displayed in black. Cell values that were not checked are displayed in gray. The checkpoint passed because the actual value of the checked cell matches the expected value. 5. View the results of the table checkpoint. In the results tree, Book a Flight, Mercury page, expand card type. Highlight checkpoint check cost. In the Details pane, you can review the details of the table checkpoint. You can also review the values of the table cells. Cell values that were checked are displayed in black. Cell values that were not checked are displayed in gray. The checkpoint passed because the actual value of the checked cell matches the expected value. 6. View the results of the standard checkpoint. In the results tree, Book a flight, Mercury page, expand pass first. Highlight checkpoint check name. In the Details pane, you can review the details of the standard checkpoint, which lists the properties that were checked and their values. The checkpoint passed because the actual values of the checked properties match the expected values. 7. View the results of the text checkpoint. In the results tree, expand Flight Confirmation, Mercury, and highlight Checkpoint Check Departing Text. In the Details pane, you can review the details of the text checkpoint. The checkpoint passed because the actual text matches the expected text.